What's up, fam? It's your boy. It's Heaven Hollywood. We're back on IE Network. This is the Heaven Hollywood Report. And let's get to it. Shout out to my sponsor. In case you didn't know, that's icydk.blog. Make sure you check them out on all mobile devices and the World Wide Web. Before we get started, please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss one video. Let's go. We got some deep stuff to get to today. All right? We got some deep stuff to get to today. First, let's start this thing off with Donald Trump and his executive order to release the file, to unclassify the files of Senator Robert F. Kennedy, former President John F. Kennedy, and the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. With the Senator Ted Kennedy, it was the other Kennedy. I think it's Robert F. Kennedy. But I just want to talk to y'all about Martin Luther King, and I just telling people. 2 years ago, I said, if y'all thought the first term was bad, you let him get in for a second term, and it's going to be your worst nightmare. It's going to be 3 times worse as it was the first time. Because he's going to store Project 2025. Oh no! That he said he don't know nothing about that. I said he's going to do black people worse than you can ever imagine, and y'all, that's going to be his payback to y'all for not voting him in for the second term. He just announced that he's going to unclassify the files because he wants the truth out there. Let me tell you what he's trying to do. As we already know, they're removing black history from the schools. He's not trying to get to the truth about what happened by the assassination. What he's going to do is release some files that are negative about Martin Luther King. Because remember, like a few years ago, there was somebody saying that the FBI files of them tracking Martin Luther King Jr. was going to be released. He's going to have them released. And there was rumors about Dr. Martin Luther King being with a prostitute. There was rumors about Dr. Martin Luther King having orgies. And once he puts that stuff out, the audios of that stuff, even if they AI it or whatever they're going to do, they're going to then start saying, oh, let's take his name off of schools. Do you want your child to be associated with someone like this? Let's take his name off of colleges, off of streets. He should no longer be a national holiday. You're going to hear all the right wing saying this. I'm telling y'all right now. And I know most of y'all really don't care about Dr. Martin Luther King. Most of you new folks, you new black folks, y'all could care less. And you're going to have these people, mark my words, because that's going to be a reason to say, oh, well, he was bad. He was morally a bad person, so we shouldn't be honoring him. Watch. I'm telling y'all that from right now. He could care less about getting the truth out there. There's an agenda to him. This man, as I told y'all, but y'all don't want to believe me. Oh, what makes him a racist? That man is a stone cold, in my opinion, racist to his heart. And he's going to try to damage and destroy the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. And then he's going to say, oh, we should remove him from, he shouldn't be a national holiday. All the bad things he did. Watch what I tell you. So, be watching out for it. This man could care less about the truth getting out there. He's going to try to damage the legacy of Martin Luther King. Remember, I told you. Moving on, and I want to talk about Kim Porter and this dude, Chris Todd, who put out a book that was supposedly Kim Porter's Last Words, I believe the name of the book was. Now, this is the same book that I'll Be Sure went and gave a cease and desist to. Amazon had it up. They eventually removed the book because I'll Be Sure cease and desist, saying that the book was fake. But according to this Chris Todd dude, he sold 30,000 copies of the book and received $400,000 from it. So I guess that's before Amazon took it down. And he's saying he got the money from it. Now, this man has come out and basically admitted that he wrote that book. He has basically admitted that he wrote Kim Porter's book, and there was supposed to be Kim Porter's Last Words, and this guy wrote it, and there's not enough backlash. He is saying that he wrote a dead black woman's last words and put it out there saying that it's Kim Porter's last words, and y'all just sat there and ate it up because you want to see Diddy go down so bad, and you want to hear the tea. You let this white man exploit this black woman. And he sat and told you that he did not write the book. I mean, that Kim Porter didn't write. He wrote some of the book. So how can they be Kim Porter's last words? I'm going to use this under fair use. Dani Robertson is going to break everything down for you with this Chris Todd dude. He was on Sean Atwood's platform. So I'm going to listen to Dani Robertson and explain it to everybody, break it down, and then we're going to react to that. All right? So check this out because this is crazy.
Why are you getting sued, Courtney? What is going on here?
So let me actually give y'all a little bit of a rehash as far as why Jag is on this panel. Chris Todd, the fraud, the white bomby looking guy in the middle, okay, in the black shirt. He actually went on AT2's platform and he was trying to call out Jag, and he was pretty much trying to insinuate or imply that he actually wanted to have some sort of interaction with Jag.
So on this panel is Sean Atwood, the white guy from the British white guy that's exploiting black culture. Courtney Burgess, who was the black guy, the fake TD Jakes looking guy, who came out and said he knows Tupac and he's trying to get back at Diddy because of what Diddy did to Tupac, and he's saying that him and Tupac was close. He was a manager, he was a producer on one of Tupac. He has all these lies about Tupac. He's saying that Kim Porter gave him the book. First he said Kim Porter gave him the book, said he met Kim Porter, but even though her family's saying they don't know him. Then he came out and said, I believe he said Kamora Lee Simmons gave him the book at first. So he's on the panel as well as this Chris Todd dude.
And Jaguar. Or something with Jag. Okay? And then on top of that, there's Chris Todd and Courtney. These two are weird. They are always like beefing and going back at each other and against each other. But when they want to make some money, they will get back together. So whenever there's money in the mix or some sort of way they can join together to get money or in cahoots, they will get back together. Because Courtney had just said he's beefing with Chris Todd. And the reason he was beefing with Chris Todd is because he believes that Chris Todd is out here keep on saying Kamora Lee Simmons gave the book. Kamora Lee Simmons gave the book. So the issue is, that's why I prefer to ask questions myself. I ask the real questions, the tough questions, and the questions that need to be asked to get to the bottom of a situation. The question is to ask from this panel, why is Chris Todd the fraud saying that Kamora Lee Simmons is the source and gave the book or the flash drives to Courtney Bald-Headed Burgess? And then Courtney Bald-Headed Burgess is saying that it's actually Shakir Stewart that gave him the flash drives.
Now, Shakir Stewart is a old, rumored to be lover of Kim Porter, right? The reason why he's saying he can get away with saying Shakir Stewart gave him the flash drive is because Shakir Stewart's no longer with us. So dead men tell no tales. The only issue is Shakir Stewart passed away in 2008, sir. So if Shakir Stewart passed away in 2008, how did he give you the manuscript or the flash drive to Kim Porter's book when he passed away in 2008? And she didn't pass away until what, 2007, 2018? So how is that possible, sir?
Not Kimora Lee Simmons. There's a discrepancy, there's an inconsistency for two people that are supposed to be working together, some sort of business arrangement or agreement. So on this panel, I would have said, Chris Todd, you're saying that Courtney said Kimora Lee Simmons gave the book, and Courtney Burgess, you're saying that Shakir Stewart gave you the book and not Kimora Lee. So why is there an inconsistency or discrepancy? See, people don't ask these questions. That's right. What makes me think that people are not really trying to get to the bottom of it.
They're not.
See, I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, so I would ask these questions. You see what I'm saying? Why aren't simple questions being asked?
Right. Because they don't want to know the truth.
I don't know why he was trying to sue me. You know what? If he could hear me, I'd like to come visit him. Tell him, put me on his guest list. I'll come visit him. I'll fly out to New York. I'm not come visit him. He could serve me, and anybody else who's going to serve him could serve him all at one time. Because last time I heard,
easy for you to talk smack with that now Diddy's locked up.
I think somebody, last time he sued somebody, you see what happened to him?
Have you read the lawsuit?
I'm broke. No.
It costs a lot to maintain a Lamborghini.
So Courtney Burgess says he's broke. He says, I'm broke. So let's be clear here. I do believe that you actually don't have as much money as you proclaim to have. I think that you're on here lying to people and pretending like you have all this money, just like you're pretending to have Kim Porter's real book. I believe that you actually are technically broke and you're a bum that lives with other people and off other people. You probably still will live with your mom and dad. There's nothing wrong with living with your mom and dad if you know you have to. However, you're out here flexing like you got all this money. And the truth is that the house you were living in was your parents' home, and then the other home belonged. The name on the house is another lady. I'm not gonna say her name, but it ain't you.
You know, Danny be investigating.
Okay? So where's your property that's in your?
Now, in this part, you're gonna basically hear Chris Todd pretty much admit, or Danny's gonna break down how he did not write, how he wrote part of Kim Porter's book.
Courtney, didn't you say you stand by your word? They're coming for this. You know, they're coming for these.
Okay.
So Chris Todd holds up both versions of the book, the Chris Todd, Kim's Lost Words, and he also holds up the other book, Courtney Burgess, Tell It All, Kim Porter book. If you watch my other video, I made a comparison between both books, and there are changes between the books. Courtney's book has everything in place: the epilogue, the prologue, the note names redacted. It also has inaccurate misinformation on Tupac and Biggie. Inaccurate misinformation, wrong information, historical information, incorrect. Now, Chris Todd, once he, got into the picture, he told Courtney to remove his book so he could put out a different book and change things up. So he put out Kim's Lost Words, and Courtney took down his book, to Tell It All. Chris Todd removed the epilogue of the book and the prologue of the book because he felt like that would be revealing. And he felt like that was like a different voice speaking, and that was the source, which was supposed to be the celebrity A-lister or celebrity source speaking, who actually was given the book by Kim Porter. And, people were speculating that they were going to say Kimora Lee Simmons, and lo and behold, later they said, it was Kimora Lee Simmons who wrote the epilogue, the prologue, and then the book, right? However, let me go back to this part. So then Chris Todd reads the book, the Tell It All book from Courtney, and he realizes there's inaccurate information about Tupac and Biggie.
Right.
And since it's inaccurate information, he actually corrects the information. So he puts the real information about Tupac and Biggie. And there was one other error he fixed as well. And the reason he corrected that information is because he realized that if he put the book out as is, people will say, wait, that's not what happened with Tupac. Wait, that's not Tupac. I mean, Biggie. That's not Biggie's kid's name. So he corrected the information before he put out his version. The second thing that he...
So there's actually two versions of Kim Porter's book. Courtney Burgess's version, and then this Chris Todd version. So just totally exploiting this woman's death and making money off it. And people, nobody seemed to call it out. Nobody seemed to care. I don't know what the hell her kids are doing. King Combs is dancing around talking about how bad his girl is. And yes, she is bad, but there's people out here exploiting your mother. Like, what are you doing? There's people out here exploiting your mother, and you're dancing around talking about how bad your girl is, and these people are making money telling lies about your dead mother and got a white man writing her last words.
He did was the third thing, he actually redacted information. He took out Snoop Dogg's name. There was a bunch of stuff about Snoop Dogg doing stuff with Diddy. He put X's on that instead of Snoop Dogg's name. And the last thing he did, as far as changes, is that he completely wrote the last chapter of the book. Everything that Courtney Burgess had in his version, the last page in its entirety, Chris Todd wrote some of the book, and he later confessed to writing some of the book.
Wow.
So for all y'all people out there saying that's Kim's words, how can you say that when Chris Todd admitted to writing some of the book, and it's confirmed that he actually did write the last page, the entire last page. So when you're reading that last page, you're reading Chris Todd, not Kim Porter. So I've already shown that. So if you missed videos, part 1 and part 2, I suggest you catch up. Okay, hold on.
And they're coming for tapes. That's what they're coming for.
So he's saying that Diddy is suing, and Diddy is coming for tapes. He's coming for tapes. Now, for some people, I'm actually gonna play when Chris Todd said he wrote some of the book, and I'm also going to show you the last page of the book. And when you hear this book, the last page, you'll see that whole page was written by Chris Todd pretending to be Kim Porter, and it's a mess.
Wow.
Okay? A mess.
I don't have anything.
Wait, have you been served physically yet?
No, I haven't. I don't know how they're going to serve me.
They're not.
So, wow. And later on, she actually plays his part where he says it. I'll let y'all hear that.
That you were conning people. And you knew you would have said.
Jane is asking, did you take words out from Kim's book, and why?
Yes, I did. And I wrote part of the book myself.
Did you take words out? And he said, yes, he did. And he wrote part of the book himself.
So shout out to Dani Robertson for that. Again, why aren't people trying to take this dude to task? Why aren't people trying to sue this guy? Why aren't people, where is Kim Porter's family? Since Puffy's in jail, it's like nobody can do anything. Right? He can only do but so much from behind bars. So where are all Kim Porter's friends and all of her family? Like who gets to speak on her estate? Because this dude is out here writing his own words saying that it's Kim Porter. So shout out to Dani Robertson for exposing that. And if y'all still going to buy that book, there's something wrong with y'all. And finally, let's close it out with Stephen A. Smith and Molly Qerim. Now, there is a young lady on social media going by the name of Mrs. Stephen A. Smith, and she is so-called exposing on social media that Molly Qerim tried to filed a complaint, an SA complaint at Stephen A. Smith for ESPN. Now, this lady says that she's Stephen A. Smith's significant other. And there are some pictures with her and Stephen A. Smith, but a lot of people think that those pictures are old, and they think that maybe he was somebody that she dated, or she may have just took a picture with him or what have you. But she's saying that she's arguing with someone, a handle that she's saying is Molly Qerim's burner account. She's telling her about how she tried, Stephen A. Smith, denied her advances, and because he did that, that's why she started this essay suit, and then went and told Jalen Rose that that Stephen A. Smith was sexually harassing or whatever. That's what, according to this lady, said she told Jalen Rose. I'm gonna let you listen to this woman and what she has to say. Some pretty steep accusations. So far, Molly Qerim or Stephen A. Smith has not responded back. I've hit them both up and sent them the clip and waiting to see if they say anything back. But listen to what she is saying, and then leave your comments down below if you think, is this lady legit? Stephen A. Smith is pretty private, and I don't think he would have anyone coming out here. This woman seems like some sort of, psychotic, obsessed fan. But she's saying a lot of things, a lot of accusations about Molly Qerim. So just listen to it. Leave your comments down below what you think. Do you think this is real, legitimate? I mean, it's hard for me to think that, knowing how private Stephen A. Smith is. But let me know down in the comments. It's your boy Heaven Hollywood for the IE Network.
Hey y'all, you ready for a little story time? You know that kid in school who's always like really, really quiet, and there's a bully that keeps on picking on him until everybody finally finds out that kid got them hands? I'm that kid that got them hands. So let's have a little story time about Molly on First Take. See, Molly came at me last night for the I don't know how many times from a fake account. And she was making fun of me. But she didn't know that I know who she is. And so I told her, like Stephen told her, to stop calling him SA. But she wouldn't listen. And I told her not to do it again, or I was going to air her out. And so she decided to get on First Take today to do it. So let me tell you a little bit about Molly and why she calls Stephen SA. Molly actually falsely accused Stephen of sexual harassment. This was after he rejected her advances, because I guess she thought that he didn't really love me. Anyway, so let's go back about Molly. See, Molly was the one who actually planted the story about her and Stephen having an affair. When Stephen wanted to address it, his bosses told him not to. Molly blamed that on Jalen, her ex-husband. But it was really Molly. Molly was jealous because, see, Jalen told Molly not to move to Connecticut, but she didn't listen. And then she got mad at the results. So then she decided to go after Stephen A. after she saw him coming up even more. Well, baby, she didn't know that Stephen A. is all about Nikita. So anyway, she plants this story. And she thought it was going to faze me, but it didn't, because the one thing I know about my man, he likes all the assets, and she ain't got none. Anyway, so she let it play out. And so when it didn't come, I told Stephen at that moment, I said, you should nip this in the bud, because she is going to claim you harassed her. And he said, no, my bosses told me not to. And there's another story about those bosses that actually are trying to sabotage Stephen A. at ESPN, but I'll talk about that later. So today, Molly was the one who did it. She planted the story. She falsely accused Stephen, and apparently she didn't think I was about this life, but baby, I'm about this life. See, Stephen should have told you, not only am I a banking expert, I'm an IT expert. And on top of that, I was the EEO director at the FDIC. Now, you better come again before you come correct, before you come at me, because I'd rather be growing my baby. But baby, I'll stop and take care of you. Molly girl, hey, you thought I forgot about you? Oh, I didn't. I just had things to do. Let me put my glasses on because class is in session. You see, when people don't think water is wet, you got to take them to the ocean. So let's have part 2 about Molly. See, the reason that Molly decided to go and make these false accusations against Stephen A. is simply because she wanted money. Molly is in contract negotiations, and she only makes $400,000 a year. And I said only because me, somebody y'all don't even know, I made that in the federal government. But anyway, Molly wants to make Stephen A. money when she doesn't have Stephen A. talent. And so you can't do that. See, Molly is dry. She lacks really any talent and personality to be on television. You haven't seen her across multiple platforms because nobody wants her. She doesn't resonate with an audience. That's simply it. So if you want Stephen A. money, you need to have Stephen A. talent. Okay? Second thing is, Molly had help with Norby because Norby is that type of manager. You know, that manager who hates to see you succeed more than them and to make more money more than them. He's that person. And so they found a way that they thought they could hold Stephen A. down. That's what's happened. So, since Norby has been hating for a long time on talent that makes more than him, he's going to reap what he sows. So let me tell you what's going to happen with Molly and ESPN because of Norby. Molly will not be working on First Take next season. As a matter of fact, she won't be working at ESPN. Molly is going to get sick again. Her illness is going to come back, and it's going to stay. Further, ESPN profits and ratings will continue to decline until Norby Williams is moved out of that organization. Norby is a cancer, and what God will not tolerate is people being hurt by bad managers. That is what's going to happen. And if ESPN doesn't remove Norby, what's further going to happen is ESPN will fail to exist in the future. And Fox will take over as the nation's leader and as it relates to sports. Now, let me know if you're still feeling froggy and you want some more of these facts. You better ask somebody about me, because this is so y'all make sure y'all record it so when it happens, that you know you can't play with me.